Hey movie review roundtable watchers, today is Devil. Now, I was a little disappointed when I found out that these Night Chronicles are not M. Night's actual movies, that they're just his ideas. But that said, his ideas are brilliant. So hopefully this director and writer take us into some really fun, intense, crazy places in this hour and 20 minutes we're about to do.
I'm actually really excited to see this movie. It's taken me a while to ease into the scary movie genre, but I am ready to have the pants scared off of me right now.
Yeah, so based on the last movie, The Happening, I wasn't really impressed, but this movie, I'm excited.
I'm a huge M. Night fan, at least from the first 4 films, but The Last Airbender really put a sour taste in my mouth, and I know he didn't direct this, I know he just came up with the story, so maybe he can get back down to the nitty-gritty and get back to doing what he's good at, and that's weaving a good story.
Yes, it was a little cheesy with the aspect of the devil, and it was a little annoying, not annoying, but I didn't really care too much for the VO aspect of it, of telling us the story. But for an hour and 20 minutes, pretty much, I was entertained, I was on the edge of my seat, I was never bored, and everybody, not only did I leave the theater thinking, I'm going to be nice to everybody as I walk out. Right? I saw people picking up popcorn they dropped off the floor, okay? That doesn't happen in theaters. This movie definitely makes you feel like you need to behave yourself.
In scary movies, you have that sense of like you're on the edge of your seat and then every now and then you're scared out of your seat. But I kind of feel like this one, I was on the edge of my seat and I never really got past the edge of my seat, if that makes any sense at all. Like, I don't know, I had a weird feeling during the whole movie that I was like, okay, I feel like I'm about to be almost scared, and then I'd be like, I'm almost scared. And then there were agendas, there were moments where I was heightened scared, but yeah.
I liked the ending. The whole devil thing, yeah, I mean, I thought it would be a little bit more scarier in a sense. I thought I was going to be jumping more.
I was never scared. It's really hard to scare me. There's only a handful of movies that scare me, like Poltergeist or Blair Witch Project or Alien, but this had a definite creep factor. I'd like to say welcome back to M. Night.
Keep saying that you weren't scared, but to me, M. Night's never really been about scaring us. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a thriller. It's storytelling. It's going along with this, like, where the fuck is he going with this?
I really like what he said about the creep factor. It was creepy. It's like that kind of chill, maybe not necessarily this movie, but his style. I think what he goes for is that, like, you know, shiver down your spine kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is different than something like Poltergeist or The Ring or something like that.
I think M. Night wrote some Agatha Christie read some Agatha Christie stories before he wrote this story, because it's very 10 Little Indians, like, who's going next?
Yeah. I think I think Night is best when he is working in a team, when it's not just him doing the writing and the directing and everything.
Right.
Because that's how it was in his first movies too. Like, he was working with other people, and those were the best.
Right.
And I don't really know what that means, but
well, like I was saying to you before, like, there's a M. Night. It's all about the trick. He's an illusionist.
Right.
He's like a magician. It's like basically what he does is he says, "Look over here, and meanwhile he's taking something over here and going, "This is the actual story right here." And you're like, "Oh wait, he never lies to you. He just tricks you into thinking it's something different."
Let me ask you this: did you think this movie was predictable? Like, who you thought the devil was going to be?
No.
I did figure it out.
Really?
Yeah, I figured it out earlier on, but then I thought,
did you just
I don't know.
know?
There's just
My
something
two
about
favorite
how-
parts in the movie that I think were, I don't know, just the best, maybe story-wise, but just done in its entirety, were when she rises back up, that moment where you're like, oh fuck. And then maybe even better was the car ride when the cops driving the guy back, and that moment before they talk at all. It's like 10 moments. It's like a minute of just silence. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was the strongest dramatic tension in the entire film. I loved it.
Didn't see that coming with him being the guy. Yeah, and that's the only part that actually made me jump is when he hit the car.
And the fiance was yet another red herring because she was supposed to make you think that you're supposed to think that she was the one that's supposed to witness this thing, but in actuality, it's the cop that was supposed to witness all this stuff. So. But I had fun. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
I think with M. Night movies, you should be having fun. I think people who go here expecting some great artistic endeavor, they're going to be disappointed. People that go to see this who want scary movies, they don't want a moral to their story. They don't want to have a lesson be taught to them, which is why people, I think for the most part, didn't like movies like The Happening. And because they don't want us to be told we're doing something wrong, we're bad, people aren't good. They just want to be scared. You're not going to get that. It's M. Night. It's a great story. It's a fun time.
Like The Happening is because nothing happens. People just die, and you're like, why are people dying? Because the plants are pissed. Like,
but the whole movie with The Happening, I was watching thinking he is making a great statement, and I loved The Happening. I watched it the whole way through thinking this is a good movie, and in the end everybody going, that was horrible. I was like, did I watch the same movie?
I actually I didn't love The Happening, but it wasn't a bad movie. It just was a movie. I mean, it's way better than Lady in the Water, and it's a hell of a lot better than. Really?
Yeah.
Did you like Last Airbender?
Last Airbender was the biggest piece of shit ever made.
Oh my god! It was, like the fight choreography is gorgeous, and the sound design was amazing.
No,
other than
the acting was the worst acting and worst writing ever.
Yeah,
I've never seen
it was
that.
horrible.
I think the thing with Knight's movies is mostly with his fan base is that he did like Sixth Sense, which had that actual kind of scariness to it, and that happened to be his big blockbuster, and so he garnered this audience for this scary movie, which is not his thing necessarily. Which is, his thing is something different, which the Sixth Sense had, but it also had this. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know why
he got this audience that wasn't right for his style, and they continued to want that out of him, and he wasn't able to deliver because that's not what he's interested in doing.
But he doesn't make scary. I don't understand why everyone thought The Sixth Sense was so scary. Like,
it certainly had. Like, okay, example. The thing that still haunts me about Sixth Sense is when he walks into the kitchen and all the cabinets are. Or no. When she walks back, like she leaves, goes to the laundry room, the mom comes back, all the cabinets are open. He's sitting there with his hands. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I was like 12 or whatever when I saw that movie, but I remember the next morning, and for like a week, every morning, if I walked into my kitchen and a single cabinet was open, I screamed. Like, it freaked me out.
I was in college. I was a grown adult, and I went home after Sixth Sense and covered my face like this. It was scary to me.
It was scary stuff, and it had like graphic elements, and it was scary. And I can see maybe not like like real scare hardcore scary movie fans, but I can see how it would get an audience for scary movie goers,
Devil to me, when I hear the word devil, that's scary shit.
Yeah.
So I was expecting to be a little bit more scared, but it did have more of that creep factor. So, do you think devil was the right title for the movie, per se?
I mean, he was or she was the main character for the most part. So
I think the story could have been developed better. I really do. I think Jen was talking about the voiceover and it was guiding you through the story, and I think that was fine. It didn't really bother me, but I think that had the story been developed better, we wouldn't have needed that voiceover. I think if the voiceover had been taken out, people would have been totally lost. And I don't think that that had to be the case.
Do you feel like the movie would have been better or more interesting had it turned out to not be a supernatural force, to be a real legitimate thriller twist?
Yeah, that would have been interesting. That would have been very interesting.
Oh yeah. Actually, I really like that.
That's a really good question.
I think that actually would have had a much more profound effect than the actual end. I hadn't even thought about that, but that had it been a real...
It's always a person.
No, but it was the devil. It was a supernatural force.
Right. Well,
What
right.
if it had been a human?
They're like telling this story the whole way. That's a true Shyamalan twist right there.
Yeah.
They're like telling the story,
yeah.
and then, but it's actually, the story is just a story. and it really isn't anything crazy. There's an ending. That would have been hard to pull off though, to have.
That's what I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, how would you do that?
I recommend seeing it. It's one of my better Shyamalan favorites.
I'd recommend seeing it. I wouldn't necessarily pay full price for it, but I would see it in the theater.
Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to tell you to get a group of friends after this is done in theaters and comes out on DVD. Get a group of friends together in your basement, turn off all the lights, and watch it. And here's why. Not because I don't think it's worth it to go in the theaters, I think it is, but honestly, it didn't get dark enough in the theater to really kind of isolate me. And I think you can make it darker in your basement, and that would really kind of give you that extra edge.
I say go see it. I know everybody's like, yeah, Jen, you like every M. Night film, so blah, we're not gonna listen to you anyway. But I don't care. I thought it was fun. You will have fun if you're open-minded about it and just go along for the ride.